Hello, everybody. Welcome to our VAWA Stop Reporting breakout session for today. I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Karen Lombry, and I am the VAWA planner here at the Governor's Crime Commission. On here as well is Sandy Dixon. She is she's the lead planner for the CVS team, and we also have Josh on here, who's moderating this whole event. So thank you for you guys for being here. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them. You can put them in the chat, or you can ask me as the presentation's going on. It should be a brief presentation, and hopefully you'll learn about all of your VAWA stop reporting needs. So here we go. So for the VAWA stop reports, these reports, while they are called annual reports, they are actually, if you are a VAWA stop grantee, you're going to have to submit at least 2 of these reports. So the way that our reporting period runs is our grants are run from October 1st through September 30th. So when we have to report to the federal government and complete these VAWA reports, we need to complete them for the calendar year. So when you have a grant that opens up on October 1st, you're going to have to complete a report for the 2 months of that grant. So you're going to, on January 30th, you'll have to submit a grant to us for the project period of 10/1 through December 31st. Then what we're going to have to do is when your project ends on September 30th, you'll submit a second report on October 30th for the time period of January 1st through September 30th. So while it is called, like we said, while it is called the annual report, you're going to have to submit those reports twice. And those reports are going to be submitted via GEM. In order to access the stop report, you're gonna go into GEMS, and you're gonna go into your specific project. In your project, you're gonna see these options on the side, and what you're going to want to do is click that VAWA report button. Something that is very, very, very important to know, and I did not know this last year, is that you must complete and submit your reports using a Windows computer, not a Mac. What's going to happen if you try to use the Mac? You're gonna be able to complete the report. But at the end, which we're going to talk about, when you go to validate the report and save the report, the information is going to go away. That happened to a lot of people this year, and we didn't realize until very late in the process that it's because they were using Mac computers. So you want to make sure that you're using it on a Windows computer, not a Mac. When you click on that VAWA report button, what's going to pop up is that you're going to have links to touch, and I'm pointing at the screen, sorry. That you'll be able to choose from. And so for folks that have projects that are going to be ending on October 30th, they're going to choose that 2020 annual report, and they're going to complete that for the calendar year of 2020, and just for that specific project. If you had a project that you have a continuation project, and it ended, and ended on September 30th, and you started a new project on 10/1, you're only reporting on the activities of that project that had started on 10/1, but just for the period of January 1st to the September 30th, the end of your project. Now, when you complete the stop report, for the newbies in the group, when you download this report, it is massive. It's like 20-something pages, but do not panic. You don't have to complete the entire report. There's only specific sections that you're going to have to complete, and it's very specific to your project. So when you see the report, everybody's going to complete the section A, the general information. It covers just general information about your organization, and it asks for the reporting period, which again is that calendar year, your organization's name, your project ID, type of organization that you are, and the point of contact, and then it goes into the positions that are funded. So that's very general information. Then here you're going to click, oh, my circle moved, but you're going to click your section B is the purpose area. You're going to indicate which of the statutory purpose areas that you selected for your application. So this past year, when everybody applied, you had to pick a purpose area, and it was like 101, 102, and there was narrative connected to it. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the box that aligns with the purpose areas that you selected for your application. Then what you're going to see, there are multiple sections. You see the C1 through C7. If the section does not apply to you, you're going to see when you click on it, there's going to be an option to say, no, this does not apply to me, and you're going to be able to skip to the next next section. C3, which is the coordinated community response, all grantees have to answer that section. But what's great is, like we said, you're only going to answer the questions in the sections that align with your project. As you see here, this is just one of the examples for the victim services, legal services. It asks you, does it apply to you? So that's when you click yes, and you have to answer questions 29 through 42 because you receive these funds. What's nice is they have that the question mark, and that you're able to click on that, and and a pop-up box will come and will give you some information about what we are looking for in terms of your responses in this specific section. Then you'll see, so a lot of the times the information that's requested is data related. You're putting in numbers. And then there's also some narrative sections. You'll see in certain sections that, like this question here, number 65, it's optional, and it's 100% optional. Would we prefer that you provide us with additional information? Absolutely, but it's not mandatory. So if you feel like there was something that you were not able to convey about your project, in terms of the responses that you were giving in the other parts of the report, please feel free to provide us with the additional information. Then there's another section that is a narrative section that all recipients need to answer the questions, and those are questions 69 and 70. Subrecipients that are using the funds to implement the Crystal Judd domestic violence protocols, and that's one of the purpose areas that you would have selected on your application. You're asked that you must answer question number 71, and then questions number 72 and 73. Once again, optional. If you'd like to provide additional information for us, we would love to hear about it. And then this is the validate button that I was talking about. Once you've completed all of the information for the report, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the report, and you're going to actually see a validate button. You're going to click on that button. If you've completed everything correctly, it'll pop up like it shows here, and it says that your report is validated and it's ready for submission. So that means that you're good to go. If you don't get that specific message, what it's going to tell you is that there are some issues. And what happens is, if you pick a section and say, I served 20 individuals, and then when they ask you for the demographic breakdown or a certain breakdown of those people, and you only provide information on 6, it's going to bring you back to that question and ask you to fix that because the numbers and figures don't align. So it'll bring you back to the questions that it needs you to adjust. After you've adjusted those responses, you'll need to come down to the bottom and click validate again. Please do not submit your report unless it's validated, because what will happen is your grant administrator will look to review it, and they're going to send it back to you to get it corrected. So please make sure that your form has passed validation before you upload it into the GEM system. Now you've completed your report. You've saved it to your computer. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come back into GEMS, and again you're going to select the VAWA progress report. You're going to click on which report that you're uploading, and then you just upload it, from your computer. And some organizations have multiple projects that are funded through STOP. And we want to make sure you have to complete an individual report for each project. Please do not combine the information into one report. You need to have them uploaded separately for each of your projects. Another important thing is you must complete these electronically. The information from these reports, I then send them to a federal agency, and they extract the data from the reports in order to compile into a major report for the federal government. So again, handwritten, scanned, incomplete, or blank reports are not acceptable. And something to note, especially for the newer organizations, are if you are delayed in submitting your report, or you again handwritten, scanned, or incomplete, it's going to get sent back to you. And also, what's going to happen is you're going to put an agency hold will be put on you in GEMS. So if your agency has multiple projects, an agency hold means that no reimbursements are going to move forward until you submit that report properly. So that's definitely something to note. And then again, just reminding that information and data submitted should reflect the project's grant funded activities during that specific calendar year. So like I said, so the projects that are opening up, on 10/1, the first report's going to be due January 30th, and you're just going to report on the activity of those 2 months, October and November. No, sorry, 3 months, October, November, and December. I think I keep saying 2 months. And then, so the second report is going to reflect the activities that were completed January through September for your project. And one thing to note is that for federal regulations, you should keep a copy of all your stop reports for a minimum of 3 years. And a lot of people, in terms of funding, yes, people have to do reports, and everybody knows that these reports for VAWA, they're just so massive. And again, you only have to submit what on information on your specific project. And reports, people want to be doing the work; they don't want to be completing reports. But the thing that's really important is to realize, so we get this money from the federal government. The organization that takes and collects this data, they put a report together that's brought forward, and they're able to say what's being done with this money. Because we can't be guaranteed that this money is going to come to us year after year, or in the level that it's come. We were lucky that this year we only took a small cut in our VAWA fund, our VAWA stop funds. But we want to be able to illustrate to the federal government that this money is doing good work and it's needed, so that we need to continue. We need to show them the good work that's being done. In addition to bringing that information up to the federal government, we also utilize the information to help the state determine what are our priorities, where is the funding needed, what kind of work needs to be done with the stop funds, and it helps us to guide the work that we are doing. And like I said, we utilize the data to help to guide our funding priorities. That's really it about the stop reports. Does anybody have any questions? And you can unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question, or you could put it in the chat. I told you this was going to be a quick one.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There was one question, and I'm sorry, I'm back. Can we save the report and work on it at different times?
Yes. So you're going to download the report from the GEM system, and then what you're going to do is you save it on your computer, and then once you can work on it as frequently as you want to. So you save the information on your own computer, and then you'll upload it. So yes, you don't have to complete it in one sitting because it's a specific document that you're going to download. That's a good question. Anybody else? I know we have a couple of newbies in the group. And what you're going to be doing is you'll work with your grant administrator and let them know if you have any questions, if it's something that they can't answer when it's time to submit the reports. You might be working with me to make sure that we get all the information that we need to get, and making sure that the report is completed. Like I said, we found out that major glitch is the fact that Mac computers, and that you cannot complete them on the Macs, which is what a lot of people were having issues with. So I think that was a big hurdle we've overcome this past year. Okay, so I see a question in the chat. Do we still need to complete the progress report in GEMS as well as the stop reports? Also, what are the workarounds if we only have Macs at the agency? Okay, so the answer is yes to do we still need to complete the progress reports in GEMS as well as the stop reports? One's a state report and the other one is the federal report. And then also, what are the workarounds if we only have Macs? I honestly don't know. I know the people who have created the report have been told that understand that this is an issue and they're working on it. But as of this point, I don't know. I will let folks know if anything else comes up about that. Let me see if there are any more questions I overlooked in the chat. Okay, I think Sandy has answered the question. Sandy, is there anything that I'm missing?
I don't. And the question was the one that I cannot answer.
Okay. Okay. So honestly, I told you it was going to be a quick one. So you are finished early. Okay, hold on. Let me just see something. Same due date. Is it the same due dates for the different reports? Your grant manager is going to work with you on when the state progress reports are due in GEMS. But my understanding is that those are due once a year. So they will work with you on when those reports are due.
Karen, there's another point that somebody has made for a workaround. Couldn't you save it on a Mac and then transfer it to validate it at a PC?
I know people have tried that. They've worked on it on the Macs, and it wouldn't save on the Mac. So when they opened it up again, that it didn't, the information wasn't there.
And so if they had worked on it, then they lost the data they had entered.
Correct. So I hear both grant administrators and grant managers. There are two different support staff at GCC. That's a great question. So yes. Okay. So we are the planners at GCC. So on the planning side, we work with folks on getting on the applications and on getting their, reviewing applications and getting their applications that are funded compliant to the federal, to the federal and state standards. After your application opens, you now work with a grant administrator, and there's the term grant administrator and grant manager. I know that can be a little bit confusing because their grant administrator and grant manager are the same people. The language, their titles have changed over this past year, so that's why you probably hear me and other people still referring to folks as grant managers when the whole presentation this morning was focused on grant administrators. So I apologize for that confusion.
Karen, someone mentioned that it may be time to get a new laptop if all they have are Macs, I think was the implication.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about that as a reimbursable expense or allowable cost?
So in terms of costs related to, the STOP project, if a staff member is funded through the STOP project, you are able to put in, a request for under supplies for the computers, but the costs have to be allocable. I want to make sure I'm saying that right. So if you are 100% funded under STOP, then 100% of your computer can be funded through STOP. But if you are the project director and you are 50% on the STOP project, you could charge 50% of those of that funding to your STOP grant. So we do cover supplies that are necessary for the program. So a computer would be. Anybody else? So I want to let you know that if you check the chat, I believe Josh has put in the links for the next, and okay, and he's sharing it too, for the next breakout sessions. So you have a little bit of a break that's going to come from the time we end, and the next breakout sessions are going to start at 11:30. And I know questions had come up in the last presentation that the whole day today should be set to end around 12:30.
And I really recommend folks copy the links to the next breakouts into like a Word document or an email to yourself so that you can click on them closer to 11:30.
Okay, so Josh has put those links in again. He has it up on the screen. Yeah, and it might be best they're going to be going live, and so that I know a lot of people did today. They to this session you logged in early, so that's good so that you can get yourself set up and ready to go. I have one more question. Can you give some insight as to which breakout that we should go and look? Let's see. Josh. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the breakout options are how to use GEMS with your grants. The second option is DPS and state subrecipients. So if you're a statewide agency, you should be going to session number 2. Session number 3 is Bird JAG and CESF. Sandy, do you know what CESF stands for?
I believe that is related to the emergency COVID, but I am
So-
not sure. You should know if you are getting CESF funds.
So if you are not a state subrecipient and you receive the VOCA or the Stop VAWA or the VOCA funds, you should be going to session number 1, how to use GEMS with your grant. And then if you receive BIRDJAG funding or the COVID specific funding, you should go to session 3. And if you are a state agency, DPS or a state agency, then you should be going to session number 2. Oh, coronavirus emergency supplemental funding. Thank you.
I really want to encourage you to go to how to use GEMS with your grants. Since this is the grant award workshops, it will be not so much all the tasks you need to do in GEMS related to the application, but all the tasks related to managing your award as the project goes to be opened. And so that would be how to submit a reimbursement, where to find your reports, those types of things, especially if you're new.
So go ahead, Sandy.
So the next question, local government, should they go to 1 or 2?
I believe 1.
Yeah, 2 is really set up for state agencies.
Like an AOC kind of an agency.
Yeah, Department of Public Safety, Administrative Office of the Courts, etc.
And just a reminder for the folks who have current stop funding that's going to be ending on September 30th. Just a reminder that your reports are going to be due on October 30th. So I'm putting in my plug.
If there are
Okay.
no other questions, just a reminder of our grant writing workshops.
Yes, thank you, Sandy.
It will be next Wednesday, same format, same place. The links will be on our website. You can register. The agenda is there. And that is for grant applications that you will begin entering into GEMS on November 1st through January 31st. Okay, well, you all can reach us via email or telephone. And if you have any additional questions, and look back to our website for the PowerPoints and I believe the recordings of all the sessions today. Thank you so much and enjoy your break.
All right, thank you, everybody.